Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is Wraith here, back with another video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can become a more aggressive Fortnite player, basically being allowed to W key more efficiently and effectively and get more kills as a whole and make them a lot quicker. In this background, I'm just going to have Mongrel's like 39 kill solo trio gameplay just because it's absolutely insane. Like, I really want you guys to watch this just to see how effective some of these pro players can actually be W keying and playing aggressive. So if you're looking forward to this video, make sure you slap a like button on it, comment what you want to see for a future video, hit that subscribe button, use creator code WraithFN in the item shop, and let's get right into it. So for my first tip, and this is a super important one, is when you're W keying or playing aggressive, you can't just W key like not paying attention or not smartly, right? Because if you're just W keying and jumping into people's boxes, phasing in the 50-50s, you haven't dealt any damage, or maybe you do 30 damage, you just try and phase their box, well, you're going to get one pumped, or something's going to happen where you're going to die, you're going to get third partied, etc., right? You got to make sure you're still playing super smart, because if you aren't, you're going to either get killed, you're gonna get third partied, you're gonna go in for like the big 200 pump by phasing their box, and they're just gonna bail out, right? This game is really good for allowing bailouts, and what I mean about that is with controller or even with a purple pump, if you're a really good keyboard player and you have decent aim, if someone jumps and phases into your box, it's not the hardest thing in the world to just hit a heavy 200 or like a 160 and then switch to your SMG, right? So when you're W keying or when you're playing aggressive, you got to make sure that you're still playing smart. You're still taking walls. You're constantly applying pressure with your AR and SMG. You're not just going for the 50-50 fights or the ones where you're not really paying attention and you're just trying to get in their box, right? Because you're not going to do well, and it's not going to finish out well for you if all you're trying to do is just 50-50 and trying to get into their box. The next tip is super important, and you can see in this gameplay Mongrel does it really well, or if you watch like Unknown Army or even Benji Fishy or Clicks or whoever you want to look at, is applying pressure. These top players are so good at no matter what is happening, they're always applying pressure, whether that is trying to take their wall with their pickaxe, whether that's spraying their SMG or their AR to stop the person from healing, or again, always trying to take their wall with their AR or SMG or pickaxe or whatever the case is. They're always applying pressure. They're not just shooting someone for 60 damage with their AR and then slowly pushing up, slowly using their bounce pad, letting the person heal, letting the person kind of reorganize, get blah blah blah. Because if you do that, they're just going to get shielded up, going to realize where you are, going to be able to get some AR damage, and then it goes into their favor. Right? If you're a player and you're playing aggressive, you always got to be putting pressure on them. Like I said, whether it's trying to take their walls, spraying at them with their AR, spraying at them with your SMG, applying pressure will actually make them super nervous. It'll make it easier for you to kill them, as well as impossible for them to heal if you're just consistently spraying at them. Now my next tip, and this is also a super important one, and it's Jerry actually talks about this so much, and it's learning how to efficiently and effectively use piece control. Piece control is so important, and so many people don't use it properly that it just blows my mind. If you can properly use piece control and take everyone's walls before they can even move, as you can see on the screen right now, it's almost impossible to lose a fight. If you own every single wall, every single ramp, and the person just can't move and they just have to wait for you to pump them in the face or spray them, well, you're obviously going to win the fight, right? So what I would recommend doing is watching It's Jerry's video on piece control, or even if you want, comment down below and I can make a video on it. But learning how to piece control effectively will literally make you win so many more fights, it's not even funny. Like, I don't know how many times, especially now that I've been coming back and my mechanics aren't as solid as they used to be, is where I'll be build fighting someone and someone will either cone me or put a wall in front of me and I just get stuck, and then they just have their way with me. They absolutely clap me, they do an easy pump, and after they pump me, I don't really have any decision, because everything, every wall, every ramp, every cone, whatever, they own, right? So it's super important to learn how to efficiently and effectively piece control. Now my next tip, and this is a pretty obvious one, but a lot of people don't really understand it as much as they should, and I talked about this kind of at the start of the video, where you need to have good aim, because there's so many efficient ways that you can get bailed out, or you can bail yourself out of the game. So for example, in this gameplay that we're watching of Mongrel, I would say he probably has 15 to 20 max damage pumps, or like 180 damage pumps or more, which basically just allows him to get so many more kills way quicker than if you pump someone for 120, they run away, and then they heal up, etc., etc., right? So getting that big damage pump is just so important to get in fast kills, getting the easy kills, and being able to W key effectively. Because if you're even shooting someone for like with a pump 3 to 4 times, well then obviously someone's going to third party or something's going to happen where it's just going to take the fight so long, right? If you're just hitting max damage pumps, or even if you're railing someone for 130 damage with your AR before the fight even starts, obviously it's going to go a lot better for you. So trust me, working on your aim is going to be so important to actually helping you become a better W keyer, to be better overall, and actually just being able to be more aggressive. Now, kind of speaking on my last tip right there, is you have to learn how to end fights quickly. The longer a fight takes, the more resources you go through, the more mats you go through, the more shield you go through, and the higher chance it has for someone to come in and W key you by third partying, right? How many times are you fighting and you're just kind of doing whatever and you're fighting someone, and then after like 30 seconds you've dealt like 4 AR shots to them, you've pumped them 3 times, and they're just continuously running away using impulses, shielding, whatever the case is, and then just someone comes out of nowhere and kills you, or jumps into your box with an SMG and sprays you 10 times because you're out of mats or you're out of shield or whatever the case is, right? Trust me, learning how to finish a fight really quickly is one of the most important skills that so many people don't have. If you watch people like Mongrel or any pro player, they can literally end a fight in somewhere between like 0 to like 25 seconds. Like some people end the fights in like 10 seconds because they'll shoot them 3 times with their AR, the other person will try and box up or build or whatever the case is, and all the pros do is take their wall and shoot at them with their pump, or they'll spray with their AR like 3 or 4 times, impulse onto them, and then piece control them and kill them, right? It's so important to learn how to end and finish a fight quickly, because trust me, the longer it takes, the worse it's going to be for you. So now let's talk about how you can actually start using all these techniques in a game. So basically what I've gone through, I'll just kind of give a quick recap, is one is you got to play, when you're W keying, you have to play smart. You can't just W key and phase 50-50 into people's boxes. The next is piece control, learning how to take control of the playing field. Make sure you take their cones, make sure you take their walls, or when they're trying to leave, you actually box them up so they can't move. The third would be your aim and practicing your close range pumps or AR. And then the fourth would be learning how to end fights quickly, right? So now that's all good and well. Having that knowledge is super important, and it's obviously going to help you become a better player and W key a lot more effectively and efficiently than you would before. But a lot of you guys are like, okay, well, how do I actually practice this, right? It's a lot easier said than done, just being like, okay, I'm gonna hit more shots, or I'm gonna practice piece control and then I'll become as good as Mongo, right? No, that's not obviously as easy as it sounds. So some things that I would recommend you guys to do and actually to work on these is, one is just playing creative with your friends, and playing box fighting or 1v1 is going to be such a good way to improve all of these. Every single one of the tips I've given, playing in 1v1s or playing in box fighting is going to help all these. So basically what I mean about that is, if you're playing box fighting, pay attention to when you're box fighting and actually try and improve on a specific place. If you're trying to work on your piece control and you're box fighting or you're 1v1ing your friends, make sure you actually work on your piece control. Pay attention and be like, hey, every single time my opponent or my friend tries to leave his box, I'm going to try and cone him, or I'm going to try and place a wall and then box him up, because he's not going to be able to move after he does that, right? So it's so important that when you're actually practicing, make sure that you're actually focusing and paying attention. If you're trying to work on your shotgun aim, when you're box fighting, make sure you actually focus on trying to hit every shot like it's a 200 damage shot. If you're 1v1ing, make sure you try a piece control here, and then once you piece control, do an edit and make sure you line up for that heavy damage shot, right? So 1v1 box fighting and just 1v1 build fighting is super good. And then the other really good tip I would say is W keying in arena. And I've talked about this in almost every single video where I talk about improving. I literally talked about this in the last video. W keying in arena is just such a good way to actually improve and get better. And the same thing goes for box fighting and editing, or 1v1 box fighting or build fighting. Like I said, when you're doing it, make sure you're actually paying attention and trying to complete the task. If you're trying to work on your piece control, make sure when you're in arena and you're fighting people, you're actually working on your piece control. Don't just go into arena, W key, and think that you're going to get better at piece control or rotating or shotgun aim or whatever, right? You actually have to be focusing on it, because if you're not focusing on it, it's not going to come. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you slap a like button on it, comment what you want to see for a future video, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Peace out.